Today is Sunday morning and time for the second edition of In the Room Where It Happened. Before we start, I just want to say, in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, IPOs were totally different than they are today. We would bring out a very small piece, 400,000 shares, literally nothing, okay? And they'd be $8, $10, $12, $14 in price. And what the whole goal was is to get 6 months in, so you get out of the lockup, then you do a secondary, and then another secondary, and another secondary. So the money, the real big money, was raised down the road, which, as you know, changed once we got private equity. Private equity came in, these companies grew under the private equity umbrella, and then they would come public later. They were far more mature. So one of the strategies that the companies used was we would use zero coupon, so no interest, convertible bonds. So this is a debt equity type like instrument, and this instrument is considered an expensive way to raise equity, so you don't do it a lot. But when you're a young company, you don't have the great cash flow, you go with the zero coupon. Makes a lot of sense, right? And so, and then as soon as you can convert the bond into the stock, you do that, or you call back the stock, or you buy back the convertible bond, which every convertible bond had times when you could buy it back. So these protections are all negotiated. It's unfortunate we don't see them anymore. There used to be actually funds out there just made up of convertible bonds. You don't see that anymore, okay? All right. So I get airmailed into this GSIB into the capital markets. And this is all fuzzy to me, as it should be, because, these videos, in the end, are supposed to make me look good, okay? And, well, you can decide at the end of the story if I'm not up for maybe being the most clueless human being in history, but here you go. So anyway, we're going to do this zero convertible bond for this little company called Amazon. Now, I had heard it was Amazon. I bought my books off of Amazon, and I think they added a couple things, but it's mainly just books, okay? And I don't really know. I know we didn't bring out the IPO, but I think Amazon IPO'd themselves. They had a little less than 16 million in sales. Really? Less than 16 million in sales when it came public. And now they needed money, okay? So I'm brand new, really brand new. And so I'm fighting for retail, which is what I've represented, to get these bonds, okay? Because they were calling me up, we want these bonds. And they were going to give us $250,000 worth of bonds, which is nothing, okay? So I went with the deal team to meet with the Amazon people, who turned out to be Jeff Bezos, okay? So we're in the meeting, and the deal captain gets up and she says, okay, we're going to go to the pricing call. And she turns to me and says, Danny, you stay here, okay? So if you know anything about capital markets, it should have been like an analyst. They named me, so it shows you where I was on the pecking order at that time, okay? So I was like, I've never been informed. I had zero experience. I knew nothing, okay? So they leave. So there I am in a windowless conference room, sitting across the table from Jeff Bezos. Now, urban legend was already well alive. I knew that he lived with his mother. The place was in his house. And all I could think about was, we're raising him. This is a $2 billion convertible bond issue. We're going to give him $2 billion. And so we're sitting there, and there's a very uncomfortable silence, as you can imagine. We don't know each other whatsoever. And so I said, so what does the website need $2 billion for? And why I said that, I don't know. But anyway, he laughs, and he goes, how come everyone thinks if you have a web page that you're an internet company? And so I was like, okay, then why do you need $2 billion? And he says, I'm going to build fulfillment centers. I'm like, what's a fulfillment center? And he goes, I'm going to deliver everything to the internet that people want to sell. So I'm silent. And then he goes, where am I going to build my first fulfillment center? Now, I don't even know what a fulfillment center is. And I'm like, I don't have a clue. And he goes, I'm going to build it in Tennessee. And I go, all right, he could tell I'm confused. And he says, why am I building it in Tennessee? Where in Tennessee? And I go, I have no clue. He says, I'm going to build it, I think it's Memphis. And he goes, why? And I go, I have no idea. He goes, because that's what Federal Express is. And he says, so the first round, I'm going to be building 5 fulfillment centers around the country, but the first one will be next to Federal Express. And so basically, Jeff Bezos laid me out the entire strategy of Amazon, which I had no clue about, and certainly I was clueless enough not to even understand what he was telling me. So anyway, we ended up, it was a $3.2 billion issue, the convertible bond, and I'm going to say 9 months or something like that, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. Amazon called in the convertible bond at a profit to the people who bought it on the offering, and then issued out regular equity, which is a lot cheaper, okay? So I was given the entire story early on, and never did a thing about it. What do you think? Like and follow, and certainly tell me what you think in your comments.